Episode 3.
3.
Yay!
We're back.
Again! I know. I've been so looking forward to filming this.
Me too.
I find now every time we're not filming and there's a date that we have set that we're going to film,
Yeah.
I get so excited for that day.
It's very fun.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
I had my birthday 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And I think I was like more excited to
film
for today. Yeah.
That's
Just because
funny.
it's so fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And we like doing it for you guys too.
Of course.
Yeah.
And before we start getting into the episode, just a big thank you again for all the downloads. Episode 2 is popping off.
Yeah. The love on Instagram, TikTok.
Everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's been so nice. So thank you so much, and keep listening because we have so much fun.
And recommending your friends too. That's been great to see.
God.
All the recommendations. Yeah.
All the Instagram stories and reposts and stuff.
It's sweet.
We love you guys so much.
So much.
But let's get into the episode because we are waiting for Mr. Jack to fall asleep, and hopefully this works out.
We gotta make it snappy.
This is just mom life. It's like the perfect. It is what it is.
We're on their time always.
Always.
Yeah.
So episode 3 is going to be mainly focused on the week before pregnancy. Like we kind of did talk very quickly about the third trimester in episode 2. So maybe we can just touch on a few points that were kind of missed in that episode. And then go right into the week before pregnancy and how...
The week before birth.
Or sorry, the week before birth. The week before pregnancy.
Oh my
Who
God.
knows?
Yeah.
That's too long ago.
It's wiped from my brain.
Okay, if there's any errors in how I'm speaking, I'm gonna apologize in advance because we're on day 65 of Winnie waking up.
No sleep. Yeah.
Of Winnie waking up between the hours of 4 and 5:30 a.m. So
it's a struggle, guys. Wait for our sleep episode. It's gonna be 3 parts.
At least
2 parts Winnie, 1 part Jack.
Maybe Jack could have half an episode.
Okay.
Winnie needs the full thing. Okay,
yeah,
she's
true.
a little demanding. But yeah, so we'll just talk about the week before birth. And then we're gonna kind of stop and before we get to our birth stories because that's gonna be saved. But
and what we did to kind of make the process
like to induce labor.
Yeah,
because we were doing a lot.
It wasn't working, but we tried.
Mine worked. Let's get into it then so we can find out what not to do and what to do.
Yeah, although I feel like I was doing everything right. Jack is just as stubborn as his parents.
Well, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you want to start then? Because you had Jack first, so why don't you tell what you were doing?
So I started, I think the first thing you can do is start dates.
Okay. I don't remember the week you can start that.
Don't quote me on this and do your research. And I talked to my midwife before. She's the one that told me I could start dates then. But I feel like I started dates at 34 weeks.
Okay.
And then it's kind of just 4 then, and you keep adding more, and then you get to the 6 or 8 a day.
Yeah.
And so when I first tried the dates, I was like, oh, these are fine.
Delicious.
I added them to my smoothies. I dipped them in loads of peanut butter, everything. And then you get to week 36 and you're like, oh, these are disgusting.
Yeah.
I hated them. But my midwives kept saying every cervix check and everything, they're like, your cervix is so soft. So they were like, I think the dates are really working. And that's one of the most proven things that they say is dates work. So I kept up with it. I stuck it through. I continued on. So I was eating 8 dates a day.
It's expensive too, by the way.
Yeah, I got the Costco bag.
Yeah.
I would go to Costco and get the huge bag.
Well, you had to.
Yeah.
You're eating 8 a day.
Long. But then when I would run out of the bag of dates, I would have to go to the grocery store, and they're so expensive for the smallest bag, or even if they're rolled in sometimes coconut or almonds. Anyways, I asked my midwives about red raspberry leaf tea because I feel like you hear a lot about that.
Yeah.
They advised against it. They said it can induce fake labor pains, and if you weren't already drinking it, then maybe don't. And they just said that one was more of a myth.
Okay.
So I just chose to not. I bought it, but I think I had it twice. I just chose to not take it because I didn't feel safe if they weren't safe.
Interesting. Stay tuned for mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they advised against it, so I didn't take it. And then they said curb walking. But the curb walking would really, my sciatica would really take over because it's like shifting your hips and everything, which would make my sciatica like flare up.
Sure.
So I remember trying it one day and I literally got like 3 houses down and I had a sciatica attack. So I hopped my way like back home.
No.
So I couldn't do, literally, I couldn't do curb walking, which I thought a lot of people say that works. So I was kind of upset not being able to try that one. So then I started having like Braxton Hicks or like false labor pains. Like
when was
sporadically throughout, I feel like the last 2 weeks of pregnancy. So I would have been like 40 weeks? No. Because I went to 41, don't forget.
Oh my god, right.
So
sorry,
I was like,
triggering.
yeah. I was like 39 weeks when I started getting like these fake labor pains. But I also feel like it was because they were checking my cervix so often too. My last midwife appointment, I was 40 weeks on the dot.
Yeah.
So that one they had checked me, and I remember going back and forth between wanting a sweep or not. And like talk to your doctor about those too, obviously, or your practitioner. I didn't want one. I heard that they're super painful. They may not even work. Like there was just all these like more negative I found. So I chose against the sweep, but she went and she checked my cervix and she's like, I can't even do a sweep. Like you are like 0% effaced. And I was like 40 weeks. And I was like, are you kidding? And she's like, yeah, so we're going to have to talk about scheduling an induction date. And I was like, okay, fine.
Can you talk about like your emotions in that moment? Like how were you feeling? Because you had been obviously trying for weeks, since 33 weeks, to get some progress going. And would you say you were kind of like in that moment you were like, oh, okay, sure? Or was it more disappointment and like anger?
I was so upset. I couldn't believe that I wasn't even somewhat effaced. Like I feel like I was having like parts of my bloody show, and I feel like I was like all the things, like extra mucus and like all that stuff. And I definitely feel like I should have been there already. I think my biggest thing is that all my like midwives telling me I'm going to go early. Yeah. I think that just should be stated from the beginning, because it gave me all this false hope, and it just led me to, I feel like, being disappointed even though there was nothing to be disappointed about. Like Jack was safe, he was, you know, clearly happy in there, like he didn't want to come out. So yeah, I feel like that was like super disappointing. I'm pretty sure I cried in the car when I called everyone to update them, like how I was. Yeah, it was upsetting. It was just, I felt defeated. I was like, this baby is never, and I didn't want to be induced. I wanted to have a natural labor. And then everyone kept telling me, like, that date they give you means nothing. I know. And I had to like,
made up.
Yes, it's literally made up. But I'm like, it sticks to you.
It does.
And when the baby doesn't come by then, you're like, what the hell? Like,
and by that point in pregnancy, like, we can talk also about the fact that it was June. We talked about how it was hot in our previous episode. It was not a great time to be 41 weeks pregnant.
No. And I didn't want to be induced. And then I think that started like really getting to me. So I tried, like, I Googled like how to induce labor, like how to get labor going. And there's this like YouTube video that came up, and I swear it's from like, what's it from, like 2001?
Because like, we talked about this later and found out that we were doing the same
thing. Yes. And I feel like so many of you probably have seen this too. I'll add a link to the bottom of the description so you guys can click the video if you want.
Perfect.
On YouTube. So check out the YouTube video if you want to see that link, but I'll add it to the bottom, to the description. So it's this lady, and she's in like a yoga pose, and she's doing all these different ones. And I honestly feel like that is what, and probably time, because Jack was just late anyways, but I mean, we're gonna find out if it worked for you or not, but
yes, we will.
For me, I did it twice, and then I was having like labor pains the night before
your induction date.
Yeah, so it's confusing. So I booked my induction date around Brandon's golf schedule.
No, you didn't.
No, I did, because I'm that nice of a wife. Brandon golfs on Wednesdays in like this league. So I would have been 41 weeks on the dot on that Wednesday. And my midwife was also kind of like, some people go like a week over, and I remember Lauren went, I feel like it was exactly a week. passed. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a week, but then I'm like, since I really don't want to be induced and Brandon has golf that day, whatever, let me push it to the next day, to the Thursday.
Okay, so it made sense for you too, because you wanted to give yourself that extra day.
Just in case he would come on his own.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it was also about Brandon's golf.
It was, yeah. And Brandon, I feel like he had asked me, like, oh, can you not schedule it on a Wednesday if you can pick? If you can pick the baby's birthday, can you just not do it on the day I have golf?
That's hilarious.
And if it was a couple days away, I wouldn't have listened to him because golf is not that important.
But it was the day after.
It was the day after. So I said, sure, whatever. The Thursday, I'll schedule it. So I scheduled it for the Thursday. Mm-hmm. And then I was doing these yoga stretches like the Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. And the Thursday was the 23rd.
The Thursday is the 23rd.
June 23rd.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's kind of confusing because I went in for an induction, but I was also already in labor, which you guys will hear more in my labor story. So it is confusing when I say like induction date, but it's also Jack's birthday, but I didn't fully get induced. It's a whole thing.
It will all make sense when you hear the birth story.
It will.
But all you need to know is that there was an induction date on June 23rd, mm-hmm. but a couple days before that, so on like the 21st, 22nd, you started to have pain that actually ended up being like leading into your true real labor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I started having these pains, and I feel like it was after I was doing the stretches and like that YouTube video. And Brandon went to golf on the Wednesday, and I remember texting him and being like, you don't need to come home. I'm just letting you know I'm having contractions. And everyone says you know what contractions are going to feel like.
Yeah.
And I remember having Braxton Hicks and like sporadic contractions or cramping.
Okay.
And I was like, is this contractions? Am I going into labor? And they would always stop.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, if they're real contractions, they don't stop.
How long would your Braxton Hicks last for?
It was always at night, which is what people say happens because your body is more relaxed and whatever. Mm-hmm. Sporadically, like they would happen for a couple minutes or like a minute and then like be gone for 20. Okay. And then come back a little bit again. Okay. But when Brandon was
would that happen all night?
No.
Just like a couple hours and then stop?
Yeah, just stop. Like, I don't know, I'd say maybe I'd have like 10 and then be completely gone. Mm. And I remember saying like, okay, if I can go to sleep, and then I would wake up in the morning and be like, shit, it was fake. I didn't have anything.
What a little trickster.
Oh my God. Jack. He likes to keep us on our toes, that's for sure.
He does.
But, so the Wednesday, Brandon went to golf. Mm-hmm. And I started having and I was like, these are contractions. Like, these are what they feel like. And so I texted him, I was like, you don't need to come home, but I'm having contractions. They're too far apart. And I remember like, if you're a golf wife, you're going to get me. They don't text back at golf. They are too busy.
Too busy. The air quotes. Mm-hmm. I got it.
Yeah. They're too busy to do anything. And I remember Brandon texted me like that whole entire time, obviously, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't enough for him to come home because they were so separate. But I remember being like, okay, maybe this will be the day.
And it was.
Well, yeah, because it was at night, but
it was the true thing.
It was the true thing that led into. But other than the dates, and I did keep up with my walking. Mm-hmm. Like I would walk the dog as much as I could every day. Yeah, I'd wear like a brace that would like help support my back and my belly. Like it would go under it. Yeah, so I could try and walk more with my sciatica. But other than that, I feel like I was trying everything.
So you did, let me just be clear before I start into mine so we can compare. Yeah. So you did the dates, just a shit ton of those.
Holy hell, yeah.
You did not do red raspberry leaf, and you didn't opt for the stretch and sweeps.
No.
You kept up with walking, and you were doing the yoga poses, or like it's like the yoga pose that you hold for a long time, like a 2-minute stretch or whatever.
Yeah, but my chiropractor made me do this one where I you go down on your head.
Oh, okay.
And your legs are up on the couch, so you're kind of inclined. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would try that.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, but
you're supposed to stay in that for 20 minutes.
But then all the blood would rush to your head. How would you do that? And you're
pregnant. And you're pregnant.
I did not stay in it for 20 minutes, but I tried literally all of those different yoga poses too. Yeah. But he was always face down. He was always ready to go. So it's not like I had to do anything to get that. He was ready. Yeah. It just wasn't
progressing.
Yeah. So that's mine.
That's yours.
Let's compare.
Yeah. Mine is a little bit different because I was doing the dates, but not as many a day as you were.
Okay.
I started doing dates, and kind of around the 36, 37 week mark is when I started to really think about like, okay, what can I be doing to get this process going?
Yeah.
So I spoke with my midwife, and she kind of cleared me for whatever I wanted, just within reason, just text her or whatever, and she would let me know. But for the most part, she was okay with everything that I had suggested.
Okay.
And the dates she did recommend, the red raspberry leaf tea she recommended, but she also told me that it wasn't really, it's kind of a wives' tale.
It's like
a
hocus
myth.
pocus, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I enjoyed the taste of it, and I bought a bunch of it on sale, before I had gotten the okay from her, and I was like, well, I might as well drink it.
If you have it.
I was drinking 3 cups a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved it.
Man, people make the strawberry refreshers from Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
You add like lemonade and you ice it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was delicious. So I was drinking 3 a day. I did mine hot or cold.
Okay.
Depending on, how hot the day was.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it at the end of the night. And what I would do is I would put a lid, like I would take one of my plates and put it on top of the mug.
Yeah.
And while it was really hot, and let it steep that way for like an hour.
Okay.
And what that does is that all the steam and all of the like tannins and everything that are in the tea and like the really good stuff, like it evaporates, clings to the plate, and then drops back down into the tea.
Okay.
So I felt like it was very potent.
Okay.
So 3 of those a day.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you would make them at work?
No, I would do it like in the morning, and then I would do 2 at night.
Okay.
Or if I didn't have time to do it in the morning, I would do 3 at night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
okay.
just like little mugs. Not like, I'm not talking big, huge mugs. I'm just talking about those little like coffee mugs, just 3 of them.
Okay.
And I would sometimes do 2 tea bags. Like I would really steep it.
Wow, that's a strong tea.
I was serious about the red raspberry.
Okay.
So I got cleared for that, and I was doing that. Again, I only did things that felt comfortable and that I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
The dates I didn't like the taste of. Like after however many weeks, I was like, you know what? I can't.
Did you stop the dates?
I stopped doing as many as I was doing.
Oh,
I would eat them as I remembered.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, no, I was serious. I would put them in a container. I was like good to go. I'm like, I'm eating all of these.
How you felt about the dates, I felt about the red raspberry tea.
Okay.
But I actually enjoyed it, so I kept going with it.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I did that for weeks. Like I did that starting 37 weeks, every single day, 3 cups a day.
Oh wow. Okay.
And what else was I doing? I was also walking.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful outside. I was walking like crazy. We would walk the whole loop.
Curb walking or just regular walking?
Just regular walking.
Okay.
So I have a loop by my house on the trail. So my mom, Brad, sometimes my brother and I, we would all walk together.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that kept me going because I looked forward to meeting up with like my family and doing that.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and that's a 40-minute walk. So I would do that once or twice a day.
Okay.
And then it was summertime, so they had like concerts in the park near my house.
Oh, cute. Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to those. It was every Thursday, and I remember the week before when he was born, I went to that on Thursday, and my mom and I were there. Brad was working, and walking home from that, I was like, Mom, let's just try curb walking. Okay. So my mom curb walked with me.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we walked the curb all the way. I dropped her off at home, and then I kept going and just whenever I could.
Yeah.
Switching sides.
Because if you're in a trail, there's not really a curb anyway.
No. So we had to walk up to like the sidewalk area where she lived and then do it that way. And it was up a hill. Oh. Yeah.
You're really getting the incline and
so it was up a hill and curb walking.
Yeah.
And I remember my calves were so sore after that.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Ooh, I needed a massage. I needed a bath. Like, it was crazy.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But my friend had recommended that.
Yeah.
And she said the next day her water broke. So I was a little disappointed when the next day I had no signs of labor.
Yeah.
So I did curb walking. I did walking. But the curb walking was only the week before when he was born.
Oh, okay.
So 38 weeks.
Yeah. And
I only did it once or twice.
Oh, okay.
So nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But I did keep working out. And I feel like we could do a whole episode that I'd be happy to film on working out trimester by trimester, like how to be safe and do it.
I did not work out at all through my pregnancy.
I worked out a lot.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. You would send me like pictures or videos, and you'd like just finish a workout or something. It's crazy.
I worked out a lot.
Yeah, but
and I had the energy.
That before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I'll save it for another episode because
okay.
I really feel like I could go into detail here. But what I just want to preface that by saying is that you should only be continuing to do things in pregnancy that your body was used to doing prior to getting pregnant.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be introducing new workouts or new
don't start
regimens.
running. Yeah, don't start running first trimester.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kept working out with my usual routine, but modified.
Right.
So previously I was doing like Peloton workouts and running and all this kind of stuff. But what I adapted it was I just went on YouTube and found pregnancy safe workouts, and that's what I used.
Yeah.
And that worked really well. And I'll never forget the day before Winnie was born, I was downstairs and I had my mat and I had my weights and I was doing this workout that involved like some like side lunging and like jumping if you were comfortable. Like little jumps, not crazy jumps.
Okay.
Little jumps. And I remember Brad came downstairs and he walked by me and he kind of gave me this look and he got some water and he walked past me slowly and was kind of like looking at me like, should you be doing this?
Is this safe?
Is this safe? And went back upstairs or whatever. We didn't talk about it until afterwards when Winnie was born. And Brad said, when I saw you doing that workout, it was a mental switch for me that went on that said, I need to plan exactly how I'm getting all of the bags into the car, what my plan of action is.
It's go time.
When he saw me doing that workout, he knew he had hours, okay, if not days, to figure out his plan of how he was going to get everything
pack
to the
his
car.
bag, we're getting ready.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, and for me it was just another workout, but when he saw me, I don't know, something switched for him and he was like, it's time.
He just knew. Wow.
So I had done that workout. I had done the curb walking, the red raspberry tea. I also opted with my midwives not to do stretch and sweeps.
Okay.
I had done a lot of research and I kind of found the same thing where it can be really painful and sometimes it works and sometimes it didn't.
And then you have this bleeding and then it's also, I just feel like it gives you either, and for some people it works.
Oh yeah.
But they say if it doesn't work within the 24 hours, then it didn't work. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't really think, for me it wasn't worth it. And I went so far over too. So.
Yeah. I just also, my midwife really empowered me and I had that kind of belief about my body prior to even getting pregnant that whatever was going to happen in this pregnancy was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I kind of just gave myself into that and accepted it. Like I know we talked about how I was telling myself like I was going to go to 42 weeks just mentally because I was in the mindset of, well, if that happens and that happens.
Yeah.
Because a due date is really just an invention. Like it's a number and you can cling to it.
Yeah.
Like you
which
did.
I did.
Or you can kind of just take it as an estimate and plus minus a week. And that's kind of what I did. But I just plussed 2 weeks onto it and then I was like, okay.
And then you went 2 weeks early.
I went a week early.
Oh, a week. Okay.
Yeah. So when he was born at 39 weeks and 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you were close to your due date almost. Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't far off, but I did go early. And they also say that your first pregnancy or your pregnancies align with your mother's pregnancy, with you.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, my mom, I was late coming out. But I was only late by, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let us know if you guys are different or the same as your moms, if you know, because I was late, but I think I was only late by like a couple days, whereas Jack was 8. Yeah. 8 days late.
So your homework from this episode is to go and ask your mom what her pregnancy with you was like. Yeah. And if you're a mom, compare that to your pregnancy with your children. Yeah. Because I found that so interesting. That's something that I knew about prior to getting pregnant. And I had asked my mom a few times throughout the pregnancy, like, is this the same with you? Is this not? And with the ectopic pregnancy, it was the same with her. Yeah. And then, things just lined up. It was really interesting to find out more about that while I was pregnant.
My mom didn't develop any stretch marks, and they say that that's hereditary too. Like, not all the time, like it obviously depends on your body. Yeah. But I remember I didn't get stretch marks until 39 weeks, and then they took over my stomach. Like, I remember one day I was out of the shower, and I was just like lotioning my bump, and I was like, hold on, because you can't see down there.
No.
So
past a certain point,
oh my God, yeah.
It's in the dark.
And I took a mirror and I looked and I had all these stretch marks under my stomach. And I think it's from when he dropped.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I developed stretch marks, which I was so annoyed because my mom was like, yeah, no stretch marks. And I didn't get them my whole pregnancy. And then I developed them at 39 weeks. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've got nice memories of Jack being in your belly. I didn't get any stretch marks, but my mom didn't either, so that was pretty similar.
Right.
I think she didn't get it until her second pregnancy with my brother.
Okay.
So those pregnancies, I think, were very different. But yeah, so we compared throughout my pregnancy. It was pretty similar. I found that really interesting. And then the week before when he was born, I started doing that YouTube video that you did.
Yes, yeah.
So I found that online, and I just Googled or I YouTubed how to like induce labor naturally.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first things that came up. And yeah, I just did that once a day for probably 3 or 4 days. I don't know if it helped, but it definitely felt good to hold different stretches and
you're like
stretch
pushing
out my body.
the baby out. Like you're like starting to work those muscles that like gets the baby more down.
Yeah.
I honestly think I could swear by it, and I'm gonna start doing it so early next time.
Oh, I was like, right now? What are you trying to do?
No. Like, because I think once you're past, my midwife told me once I get to 36 weeks, like then they could deliver the baby, and like that I could go to my original hospital because it's a smaller hospital. It's not like a bigger one. They don't have a NICU or anything. So I remember once I got to 36 weeks, that was like kind of the clear to like start doing what you thought like to induce labor kind of thing.
Did you have an exercise ball?
Yes. Oh yeah, I did that. I forgot. I would bounce on, oh my God, I would bounce on the ball so long.
Me too.
Holy cow. I forgot about the ball.
It just clicked to me because
it lives in my basement. I despise the ball. Yeah. But yes, I did bounce on the ball like all night. Like we would just be, Brandon and I would be watching TV, and I would finish dinner. I would sit on the couch for maybe 30 and then to the ball. And I would just bounce.
That was my exact routine.
Yeah.
So I would do that, and it got to a point where I had to put the ball out of Brad's eyesight because he would be watching TV and he'd see me bouncing and be like, you're making me sick.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting kind of sick watching you just go up and down.
Yeah.
So then that's when I would start doing like the figure eights on the ball. Like I would do different motions.
Yes, me too.
Side to side, front and back.
Yep, all of them.
Up and down. Although you should look into when you can start doing the up and down. Because there is a time in pregnancy where you should start that, and there's a time when you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
So you can start going on the ball pretty early, I think. Like I think I did it around 36 or 37
I think I was
weeks.
Before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I read about it first, and it said don't go up and down. I'm not sure why though. That's something. Do your own research
Probably
on that.
because it pushes the baby down.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's what I think.
Yeah. And so I just did the figure eights in the front and back.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got past, I think it was 38 weeks, that's when I started doing like gentle up and downs.
Oh, okay. I was doing some up and downs, obviously not crazy, and my ball wasn't like, what's that word?
Like inflated?
It was inflated, but it wasn't like super bouncy. Like it was definitely more of like a pregnancy ball.
Yeah.
In that sense. So it was nice to like, you could do your figure eights easily in your front to back, but I was doing slight bounces, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're doing slight, but when I was 38 and 7 days or 39 weeks, I was giving it.
You were
like
bouncing.
I was bouncing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you confirmed with your midwife first.
Of course.
Yeah, I feel like everything you guys are going to try, definitely confirm with them.
Yeah, your midwife or your OB,
or
depending
your OB.
on what you have. Yeah. You'll hear us reference our midwives a lot because that was the experience we had.
Yeah.
But definitely if it's an OB that you've gone with, consult with them. They're going to have the same information as a midwife.
Yeah. But yeah, because we, like, just to briefly explain, like, I had a midwife from the beginning.
Yeah.
Or from when you start with your midwife, which is 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But you were on a list and you didn't get it.
Yeah, I was on a wait list until I was 33 weeks.
Was it that late that you got in?
It was that late.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Wow.
No, it wasn't. No. I was 30 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you had an OB experience and a midwife experience. Okay, so I had some medical things. So I have scoliosis, so it's a curvature in my spine. And my midwife had asked me if I wanted to have an epidural, and I wasn't sure. I was kind of just like, you hear a lot about planning your birth stories and people going with like papers on papers. And I was like, I'm going to let whatever happens in birth happen. So I didn't want to go in with like I want or I didn't want an epidural. So I was just open to anything. So I had to get like a mapping done of my back.
Who did that? Your midwife?
No, I had to go to the hospital. I booked an appointment to go to the hospital, and they did like because they can't do an x-ray, or they didn't want to do an ultrasound, so it's kind of just like the anesthesiologist like feeling the curvature of my spine.
Okay.
They have like this crazy technology now that anyways, so I had to go do that and get scans of that done. I also, I forgot to talk about in the last episode, I have a negative blood type.
Okay.
So when you have a negative blood type, you have to get this extra shot, and you get it in your ass. Like, it's like your hip / your butt area.
Is that the RH?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's like RH something. Anyways, which I didn't realize, but it's because if Jack has a positive blood type, because Brandon is positive blood type, you can end up like killing the baby.
What?
It's usually your second pregnancy. It usually doesn't happen your first.
Oh.
I'm not like a scientist or anything, so I'm gonna maybe explain this wrong, but our blood would then like start attacking each other. And it's usually not your first one, but it's your second one, which is why way back a lot of people were usually only able to have one kid if they had a negative blood type.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a big thing. So I had to get these shots, and usually you only get it twice.
Yeah.
But because I had bleeding,
right,
so I got it done that time at the hospital at 10 weeks.
Okay.
And then I got it done again at 38 weeks.
Okay.
And then again when Jack was born. So yeah, so that was like my two kind of medical-y things that were happening. Before that, I had to have my shot done, and I had to have the mapping of my back done. But other than that.
Oh, we also had to do the Group B strep test.
Yeah.
Stick up your butt. When I told Brad that, he was dying.
My midwife was already doing checks. So she's just like, I'm going to do this quickly for you. So she did it, and I didn't have to do it.
Oh, okay. My midwife gave me a kit and sent me off to the bathroom and was like, there you go. You have to do it. So I had to read the instructions.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But I ended up being negative for that.
Yeah.
So what happens if you're positive for Group B strep is you would have to go into the hospital and receive antibiotics. Before the baby is born. Yeah. To prevent them, if you're having a vaginal delivery, to prevent the baby from coming in contact with that, I don't know, is it like a Group B strep?
I guess it would
like
be
a
like
virus or bacteria?
Yeah,
bacteria. So to prevent the baby from coming in contact with that bacteria on the way out.
But they say it's like, and it's nothing to be stressed about. They literally say you take antibiotics and you're good to go. Like, I don't think it's something to super stress about.
No.
Yeah.
So I did that, and that was also optional, I have to say.
Yeah.
I chose to do it just because I wanted to know. But again, it was optional. Okay, so we talked about what we were doing for ourselves to induce labor.
Yeah.
For you, it didn't work so well. For me, who knows?
Well, it worked well in the very end.
It worked well in the end.
Yeah.
But what kinds of things were you doing at home to prepare for the baby's arrival? Leading up to...
Yeah, so I had talked about how I took off some extra time at work just because I was so tired and in pain, and I started my mat leave early. So I was able to, like, people say, like, you clean and you get all that ready. Like, I remember I was cleaning the house. We had already set up the nursery from after my baby shower. I had, like, my mom and my mother-in-law and Brandon, like, we just organized everything right away. We cut all the tags off, sorted all the clothes. So, like, his nursery was good to go.
Okay.
I was visiting Lauren a lot because she just had Noah, so I would like go over there every week and just get baby snuggles before my baby came.
Yeah.
And that was really cute.
Did you have like your hospital bag packed?
Yeah,
I am
like a pre-planner. Like I have a trip in a month and I'm already planning outfits for that whole time. Like I'm a very planned person.
I know.
Same with Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already peeped my sweater that I was wearing, trying to steal it for your trip.
Oh, yes, the
Disney one?
Yeah, the Mickey sweater, yeah. So I had my bag packed.
Yeah.
And I'd gone through, like, I packed too much anyways. I'm an overpacker.
Mm-hmm.
But it was things like, you know, the fan, because a lot of people talk about that. The long charger. Like, I just had everything in my hospital bag good to go. I remember telling Brandon, like, you need to pack. And he was like, I know, I'm on it. And then I think I hit like 40 weeks. And he was like, okay, I'm leaving a bag here at the door. Like, I thought it would be like in the movies, this big rushed out of the house thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't for me, but it's fine.
Yeah, it was for me.
Yeah, but
for sure.
But other than that, like, we were packed and we were good to go. We had installed. I didn't want to install the car seat too early
because if you get in a car accident with it, it's not usable.
It's not even like a fender bender. Like, it doesn't even have to be a huge accident. Yeah. So I had installed the base when I was home more because I wasn't doing a lot of driving.
Yeah.
That couple weeks before pregnancy, so I had installed the base. Before birth, yes. I'd installed the base, but not the seat.
Yeah.
So we just had, like, that stuff ready to go. Other than that, I had everything, like, packed, cleaned, washed.
Ready to go.
By the door, yeah.
We didn't have Winnie's nursery done until pretty late. Like, I remember the day before she was born after my 40-minute workout.
Yeah.
Going upstairs and setting up the camera, like the monitor.
Oh, okay.
And all of her clothes I had washed, detagged, everything, sorted. The dresser was organized.
Yeah.
The crib was set up. Everything was done there. So her nursery was done. Although it's kind of funny because you finished the nursery and then she didn't sleep in the nursery for 4 months, 5 months.
It's like
oh well.
It's nice to see set up and like we had like our living room set up too. Like, we have a pretty big living room area, so we had the pack and play in the living room, so it has a change table on top.
Yeah.
So we had like that stuff all sorted and like ready to go as well.
Yeah, we did too. I had made diaper caddies.
Yes.
So I put one downstairs. I put one beside our bed. And then we had also gotten the crib or the bassinet, in our room.
Yeah.
So we had that set up. We were ready to go, and putting up that kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh my god, it just makes it feel so real.
So real.
Seeing that there, I was like, oh my god, there's gonna be a baby here soon.
And like transitioning our pets too, because it's like all this new stuff is just coming, and their normal is becoming
thrown off.
Yeah, they don't know what's really happening as well. So I remember like setting that there, and I thought it would be so cute if the cat went into and he wants to smell and like look at everything. And Brandon being like, we need to nip this now because you can't have them going in there. But I literally thought it was so cute to see my little baby inside the baby cat inside the bassinet. But so just to have that there and get them used to like everything that's going on.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Did you ever play crying noises for your cats?
No.
To prep them?
No.
Oh my gosh. I would play crying baby noises like on YouTube. Because they say to prep like your animals so they're not like barking, like some dogs like bark to babies crying.
Yeah.
So I would do that to like try to prep my animals.
My cats were used to it because, Minnie's deaf.
Oh, right.
So that wasn't my concern. And Darth was just used to it because he heard all the birth vlogs that I had watched.
Right.
So he's like, oh, this is old news.
He's fine. He's fine. He's good. Okay.
But he's actually really, really scared of any kind of sudden noise. Like music, he hates. If you turn on a song, he just is gone. Okay. So when Winnie would cry at first, he would just be gone. He was very timid with her. And we can talk about the pet experience after like bringing home baby for the first time. But we just had all that kind of stuff set up. The diaper caddies. And
postpartum caddies too. Like I remember I went to Shoppers when it was like getting pretty close to, and I bought like diapers for myself, pads, the spray bottle, like the Freedom Mom. Yeah, the Freedom Mom Perry bottle that everyone recommends. And honestly, 10 out of 10 recommend. The angle of it, instead of the stupid hospital one that like doesn't even make sense.
No, it doesn't even make sense, but I actually liked it. I liked both.
Oh, yeah, I was I didn't even think I used my hospital one.
Oh, I liked it.
After. But the Freedom Mom Perry one,
the best.
I remember making padsicles.
Yeah.
I did those, and you know what? I didn't really use them. I used them at the hospital and like maybe for the first 2 days at home. But like a padsicle, like you take a pad, I put witch hazel pads and aloe on it, and then you just put them in the freezer. My freezer is in the basement. Like we don't have a fridge with a freezer on our main floor.
Oh.
It's stupid. It's really dumb. But I was like, I'm not walking down to the basement to get a padsicle. But I would leave my witch hazel pads in the fridge. Mm-hmm. So then I remember like adding those if I needed some cooling relief. So I was getting like all of that ready.
Yes.
To go.
I did that mostly after birth. I bought a bunch of like thinner pads. Like once my bleeding had kind of gone down, I had like the thinner pads and I would soak them with water and spray them with witch hazel spray.
Oh yes, I have the spray. Yeah.
And that's what I would put.
Okay.
Yeah, and that worked. I made a bunch of those. What else was I doing? Yeah, just talking about her birth, like anticipating with Brad what that was going to look like, getting our plan in place. I think we could do maybe not a whole episode, but maybe in the birth stories we could talk a little bit about our birth plan and like coming up with that. You said you kind of didn't have one though.
Yeah, honestly, I just felt like I was open, and like you talk to your midwives or your practitioner, whoever's like about like somewhat of a plan. They asked about like, you know, the eye drops and just all that prepping stuff. So I guess in that sense we had that kind of a plan, but honestly there was no really, I was open to anything. And at that point with maybe an induction happening, my plan would have been all like
so I wrote out a plan.
Okay.
And I gave it to my midwife. Mm-hmm. So she knew what my goals were and like what I wanted without me having to say it to her.
Yeah.
So I can talk about the process of writing that because I found that a little tricky and I had to go online and do a lot of research onto what actually to include in that.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to do a birth plan and if you're interested in that, I can definitely talk about that and what information to include and what is not necessarily relevant. But I had packed my hospital bag. I was the same. I gave Brad a list of things that he should pack.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say this. I was delusional about what birth was actually going to be like for me.
Yeah.
Because I told Brad that I wanted to walk to the hospital. We live so close that I said to him, I was like, don't worry about driving. Once I start having like contractions, we'll just walk.
Okay.
You know how close it is. That's not so far off.
But I'm just thinking of after coming home.
Right. Well, Brad could have gone home and got the car and come and gotten us.
What an inconvenience.
Sure. I don't know what I was thinking. This is what I mean about being delusional. Yeah. And Brad to this day laughs. Like I had a TENS machine. I had music. Yeah. Like a playlist ready. Okay. I was like, Brad, do not bring me my wireless earphones. Bring me my wired headphones so that I can listen to music because we don't know how long it's going to be.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right? Like I was like, the wireless headphones are going to die. I'm going to be there for so long. Oh. I was like, get the Netflix loaded.
The snacks. Did you guys bring snacks to the hospital?
I had bags of snacks.
We had a whole grocery, like the reusable grocery bag filled. Brandon and I went to the store. We got like Gatorades, jerky, chips, all the snacks. We had all the snacks ready to go.
Yeah, I had fruit bars, nuts, coconut water.
Okay, I just said we had jerky, chips, and Gatorade. And Sarah's like, I
had protein bars.
Oh, protein bars. Oh, great. Oh, some nuts. That's so filling after I just gave birth.
It's not about being full, it's about getting protein.
Can I have a pecan, please?
Just one.
Just one.
That's going to top me right up.
Oh my god.
But I did drink the coconut water.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. You have to stay so hydrated.
You're so thirsty.
So thirsty, yeah.
I've never experienced
Your mouth is like the Sahara Desert.
I've never experienced thirst like the second your baby latches for the first time.
Yeah.
You're dry as a bone.
So thirsty, yeah.
And every time after that, I was like,
Gato. I needed all the Gatorade. Yeah.
No, I went coconut water, and it was so good. So yeah, bags were packed. Mm-hmm. Delusions were high.
Yep.
None of that happened. Like now looking back.
Yeah.
Brad laughs hysterically at me when he's like, remember when you wanted to walk to the hospital when you were pregnant?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Or walking home. I told him I would walk home.
No.
I was like, don't even bother setting up the car seat. We've got time for that. Oh. I'll do that after she's born.
Let's just walk home. It's stitched and all.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It didn't end up happening though.
Yeah.
So we did actually drive to the hospital and we had the car seat installed.
Yes.
But we only did that the week before she was born.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't need to. And honestly, nowadays, like if you have an infant car seat that just clicks into the base, like it is as easy as throwing a bag in the car. Like you literally just click it in, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So.
But there are things like you can be packed as much as you want. your diaper bag or your hospital bag,
Yeah.
but there are still things you're gonna have to pack the day of, like your toothbrush and your hairbrush, like all the stuff like that.
I have travel ones, so that for me was like
okay.
literally already packed. Like I think I maybe put 2 things in the bag that I had out.
Okay.
And that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
There you go. So that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, do you have a similar experience prepping for pregnancy or for prepping for birth, or was yours radically different? If it was, how so? I'm so curious.
I'm curious to see the people that, you know, maybe their bag wasn't packed, but then their baby came, like what they
do you
did.
do?
Well, I feel like someone would have to bring you a bag to the hospital or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure this happened to one of my friends because they weren't expecting to have the baby then. She had to go into into a C-section surgery. But I feel like they had someone either brought the bags after or but I don't know. But let us know your experience too. We love to hear them. We love all the birth stories. So.
Oh my god. The more birth stories or the more like prepping for
Talk
labor.
About birth, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty good place to end it for today.
Yeah,
Jack is now awake and looking for mom.
Gotta go get him.
Gotta go get him. So, but he behaved this whole time. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, thanks for napping.
Yeah. And
short and sweet.
So we will see you guys for episode 4, which is gonna get
4 and 5.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
Which are going to be our birth stories.
Yes.
I'm so
the most
excited.
Anticipated, I think. People have messaged me saying that they want to hear the birth stories. So
yeah, it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fight over who gets to tell it first.
Well, Jack was born first, so I feel like
okay, that's only fair. Save the best for last.
I'm offended.
Okay, let's go get Jack.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.